Okay, now let's go overseas where there's late-breaking developments, really by the hour right now, sometimes by the minute in the Middle East. A short time ago, President Trump posting this on Truth Social. I have instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes against Iranian power plants and energy infrastructure for a 5-day period, subject to the success of the ongoing meetings and discussions. Lucas Tomlinson live in Dubai with the latest from there now. Lucas, hello.
Good morning, Bill. And over the weekend, President Trump had given Iran a 48-hour deadline that was set to expire at 7:44 p.m. Eastern time early tomorrow morning here in the region. But after that Truth Social post that you just read, Bill, President Trump now extending that deadline 5 days, perhaps after the markets closed, after he said he had good and positive discussions with the Iranians. Now, the Iranians denied that any kind of discussions took place. But here in the UAE, it joined more than 20 nations that have signed on to help open the Strait of Hormuz and condemned Iran's action. They said they would be willing to contribute, but did not list any specifics. But they want to get the Strait of Hormuz open. And over the weekend, U.S. forces did not get the weekend off, Bill. And now it's over 8,000 strikes hitting targets deeper now inside Iran, including destroying more of Iran's one-way attack drones. Though Iran's still averaging over 60 drones and over 24 ballistic missile launches each day throughout countries in the region, more than 3 weeks into this war. And just a short time ago, as American-Israeli airstrikes continue, the air tasking order or starting lineup in layman's terms, Bill, will be without the USS Gerald R. Ford. She just arrived in Crete earlier today in the Eastern Mediterranean. After a fire on board in the laundry room, she will be replaced by the USS George H.W. Bush, getting ready to set sail in the coming days from Norfolk. And the USS Tripoli Amphibious Ready Group should be arriving here in the Middle East in the coming days with over 2,000 Marines on board, and an equal number in the 11th Marine Expeditionary Unit aboard the USS Boxer should be here in about a month after leaving San Diego in the past week. Now, there's also indications based on plane spotters that elements of the 82nd Airborne Division, probably the Alert Brigade, have arrived here in the region based on flights, cargo flights from Fort Bragg and likely also Fort Campbell. That's also home to elements of the 18th Airborne Corps, of course, 101st Airborne Division. Bill.
Lucas, thanks. Nice to see you again. Dubai, Lucas Tomlinson. Dana.
For more on this, let's bring in Fox News contributor Dan Hoffman, of course, a former CIA chief of station. President Trump saying that he's instructed the Department of War to postpone any and all military strikes for 5 days, and then followed up by saying that we're having, I think it was good talks. Iran immediately said, we're not having any talks. The president is not telling the truth. Obviously, plenty of reason to be skeptical of the Iranians and anything that they say. How do you measure it right now?
Well, the United States and Israel have decapitated Iran's leadership, destroyed much of Iran's ballistic missile capability, their drones, and targeted Iran's nuclear facilities. However, Iran has demonstrated the ability to continue to launch drone and missile strikes, including at the Diego Garcia base, at a distance farther than many thought Iran was capable of launching. And Iran has closed the Strait of Hormuz. And I think for every moment the Strait of Hormuz is closed, that's Iran's regime demonstrating their resilience. What they're telling us by doing that is that we can bomb them into oblivion, decapitate their leadership, and force them to go deeper into their security apparatus to find new leaders. But they're still standing. And they will want to dictate when this war ends, how it ends. And at the heart of it, Iran doesn't want to negotiate with the United States, at least there's no evidence that they want to, about their ballistic missiles nuclear program and support to proxy terrorists. That is the reason why the United States got into this war at the very beginning. So, look, this is going to be a critical week for us, clearly. We'll stand by for evidence that any discussions are happening, but how the war ends will be as important as how it began and why it began.
All right, well, let me show you. You mentioned the United States being able to eliminate many of the notable Iranian leaders. Let's put them on the board. So here's all of them. And yet they are still able to make decisions. And one of those decisions was to launch these missiles. I can pull up this map here. You mentioned Diego Garcia. So that's way down in, I believe, would you call that the Indian Ocean? Am I correct? And so I actually got to go there one time on a refueling stop. There's nothing there, but it's at a key strategic location. And if you pull up the next map, everybody, Dan, this is what you were telling everyone. Iran is much more capable, apparently, and we don't know how many they have, of being able to reach other places. So in some sense, Iran could widen this war quite a bit.
They could, and there's still more that they could do, and our intelligence community has to be on high alert for Iranian cyber attacks against our critical infrastructure. We also have to be on high alert for Iranian terrorist operations all over the world, including here in the homeland. And remember that the leader of al-Qaeda, Saif al-Adil, has been enjoying sanctuary in Iran. So we have to be on high alert for that as well.
Let me ask you one other thing. Mark Rutte, who is, of course, NATO Secretary General, talked to Shannon Bream yesterday, saying that he thinks that the allies will join together and help us. Watch.
European allies and partners all over the world have used the last couple of weeks to make sure that we come together, that they started planning to see what we can do collectively as allies, as partners of the United States, at the moment that's possible, for the Strait of Hormuz to open up. And therefore, answering the President's call on this. When it comes to the Strait of Hormuz, Iran, I'm absolutely convinced that we will get this done together. Actually, it is already being planned.
So a good message, but he said it's already being planned and we're going to start to plan this week. But you just said this week is very critical. I mean, time is of the essence?
Yeah, a little bit. Not like fine wine getting better with age. We've got to move on this quickly. Iran wants to fight their war of attrition against us and drive up the price of this war for the United States and the rest of the world, and our allies in particular, with high price of oil. They're certainly cognizant of the debate going on in our own country and general war fatigue. The longer this war goes on, I think the more challenging it's going to be for the Trump administration to keep up the effort. So we need to move quickly with serious alacrity.
Dan Hoffman, thank you. I'm sure we'll see you again this week. We appreciate it. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.